Welcome to Murder, Mayhem, and Mortgages, where you may get the granite countertops, but it comes at a price.
Yes.
If you like dark stories, we're here to provide. I'm Robbi.
I'm Chef.
And we are your local real estate professionals. I'm a loan officer by trade and have
I'm a
worked
realtor and loan officer.
There you go. We are both licensed. Don't tell the licensing agencies that we're confessing all the dark sides of the real estate. So
We got some good stuff for you today.
we do. And just so you know, I'm from Texas and Chef is from Colorado. So we bring in both international stories and local real estate stories. And of course, we love to hear from you, our listeners. If you have a dark story to tell us, let us know. But some of the stories come from us from our research, and others come from us from just
Personal
having questionable friends,
Yes.
friends and networking groups. So, and personal experience in some cases. So, Chef, you want to kick us off today? What do you got?
Yes, I've got actually a good international story. It's out of France. It pertains to a local businessman and entrepreneur. His name was Xavier Dupont Legionnaire. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. And it actually made some international headlines because of how gruesome the whole story was, and just
A gruesome story. I
the
love it.
mystery surrounding
All right.
it.
It's not just about wine.
No. So Mr. Xavier, he is accused of murdering his wife and 4 children and burying them under their back patio. And he also killed their 2 dogs too, allegedly.
How old were his kids?
I think the older 2 were 19, 20-ish. I know he had this third one, I think, was in 11th grade, and youngest one, I don't remember, either middle school or lower high school. So, they
Young, but, budding adults in some cases.
Yes.
Jesus.
And so, there was a lot of mystery surrounding the case. Obviously, a lot of planning that went into the crime itself.
So suddenly his family just disappeared and nobody asked questions.
Well, they asked questions, but they essentially found the family, but they did not find Xavier. He disappeared afterwards. Okay. So from my research, what I had found was it was in early March 2011, and he had, called the kids out of school, sent in a resignation letter for his wife, because I don't think they did these things, but saying that they were going to be relocating to Australia. He got a business opportunity there, and they would be relocating. So he put a lot of things into play with them resigning from school, resigning from work, and
he did this after he killed them.
Before.
Like,
Yes.
nobody thought to fucking say, "Hey, enjoy Australia," and she's like, "What the fuck?"
I don't know. It sounded like he tried to start some businesses that maybe weren't successul, and I don't know if he...
Or maybe he convinced them that they were going, and he decided 5 tickets too much. What the fuck?
I feel like he probably got into some financial trouble and just didn't want to admit it to anybody, and ended up killing his family.
How bad could it be? Come on, file for bankruptcy and move on.
Yeah, that would be the simple solution.
The normal situation.
Yeah, some people have egos.
But it could be easier just to chop the fucking family up and put them underneath the front porch.
Yes, and that's what he did. Even before the crimes, the reason why they were able to tie it to him was he had purchased like a shovel and some lime to dissolve them or whatever, and plastic.
Note to
to wrap
future
them
serial
up in.
killers: buy them separately at separate timelines.
Yes, maybe
It's
well
not
in
supposed to be an
advance.
educational podcast on how to get away with murder. So.
But definitely some meticulous planning went into this, and he'd even told some friends that he had been working for the DEA, and they were going to have to go into witness protection program, and they were going to move to America, and that nobody would be able to contact them for a few years. So that started setting off some alarm bells for sure. But
So he disappeared though after killing them.
Yes, they don't know if he killed himself or if he did, relocate and change his identity. So to this day, he is either still on the run or he had offed himself afterwards. But probably the first option. He probably just disappeared into Nothingness.
Or he could be running a podcast room. What did he look like?
Quite possibly.
He's a videographer from Colorado.
We'll definitely have a
Do
picture
you guys
of
speak
him.
French?
No, my niece does though, fluently.
Oh,
But yeah, there was a lot of planning that went into it beforehand, and they don't have a clear timeline of when the family was killed because there was some conflicting witnesses that said that they had seen him a couple days after when they had originally suspected that they were killed. But yeah, he had killed the whole family and the dogs. There was 2 dogs.
The dog? Mm-hmm. The fucking dog?
Two dogs, yeah.
Jesus Christ, what a sick fuck.
Yeah. All
Wow.
because, and then
That's uncomfortable.
I guess
I'm
there was like
sorry.
a money collector that showed up at their house later looking for like $20,000 or something. So I do think it was financially motivated, as some people just don't have the ego to admit when they fell and they'd rather just not have to tell anybody.
Right. Do we have a picture of him?
Yes, there is a picture of him.
Oh, jeez. Okay, if anybody's seen this
put
dude.
it up on the
Good.
screen. But yeah.
Anybody's seen this dude, or if he's selling real estate, let us know.
So there has been some suspected sightings of him. It never turned out to anything.
In France,
like
or-
one was in Australia, one was
Okay.
in America.
What state?
I don't remember what state it was, but he did have some ties to America. Apparently, he spoke Spanish pretty fluently too. So there's some suspicion maybe he went to South America.
I've done a couple of loans for some French people, so I'm going to compare and contrast their driver's license now. You've got me thoroughly creeped out. So, kills his family, kills the kids.
There was some surveillance of
2
him
dogs.
afterwards, kind of on the run, staying in some hotels, and then he just disappeared entirely.
Takes talent to disappear in this day and age, especially
Yeah.
with all the CCTV, digital footprints.
This is back in 2011. So
You
that
still
was
had a digital footprint
that-
back in 2011.
Yeah, but that was kind of like the beginning of social media. So it really wasn't, because I think I got my Facebook in like 2010.
Are they still looking for him actively?
I'm sure they are. Yeah, he's on Interpol, like their database. So yeah, they're looking for him, but he could have
Interpol
shaved his
should
head,
find him
could have
just
shaved
for the
his-
dogs and kids alone.
Could have shaved his facial hair. So who knows what he looks like now? But I do personally feel like he went on the run.
Facial recognition software goes off of bone structure supposedly. So unless he had some kind of surgery to change like his nose, cheekbones, stuff like that, and chin, yeah.
Well, he had plenty of time to flee before.
Did he have
had
any
all of
money?
this. I don't think so. Not a
What
whole
about
lot.
the house? What kind of house was it? Did they?
It was just a modest house in France.
Okay, so we're not even talking serious money. This
No.
guy's just batshit crazy.
No, he's a
And
serial
kills people.
failed entrepreneur, I think is
Serial
essentially.
failed entrepreneur. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they have him listed as a businessman and entrepreneur, but it doesn't sound like he was successful at any of that.
Possibly a podcaster.
Yeah, and he had a lot of different stories as to what was happening with the family. So it did take a little bit of time, like a few weeks for people to be like, okay, things don't seem right here. Business opportunity in Australia, we're relocating pretty quickly, working for the DEA, have to go into witness protection program. You can't contact us for a few years. So he put some thought into what he was going to do and how he was going to try and hide his steps. And he gave himself time to escape. So I don't think the theory of him offing himself is what happened. I think he's still out there somewhere.
So it is kind of interesting. I've heard this, weirdly enough, a similar story before. And I don't know who the fuck falls for it. I think if somebody were to tell me, hey, I work for the CIA, or I'm going into witness protection, I would be like, get the fuck away from me, you creepy ass person. Because literally, and I understand, I completely fucking understand that those conventions exist for a specific fucking reason. But nobody tells you, they're not supposed to tell you, per the movies, and I'm sure it's 100% correct from the movies and on the internet. But like, seriously, I really think people need to start questioning shit more.
Well, yeah.
Because like, seriously, if somebody tells you that, they're batshit
You don't
bonkers,
get
and they're
to
trying to get
tell.
you in their cult. It's like a mini cult at that point where,
You don't get to tell people you're going into witness protection.
no,
they
you just
yank your
poof and
ass and you
disappeared and
disappear.
gone. Yeah, okay. And you don't kill dogs to go into witness protection. That shit doesn't happen. Like,
Well, and I think the reason why he ended up killing the dogs was there was a neighbor that had reported that a couple nights, is either a night or two after they suspected the family was killed, the dogs were just barking nonstop.
did you bring your cell phone in here?
And then next thing, nothing.
Did you bring your cell phone in here? If you did, I want to fucking pull up a picture of this creepy fuck.
Did I? All right, let's see. Xavier D.
But seriously, there is there was a tale of a guy, and I want to say he was in Thailand.
Looks like a dick.
He does look like a dick. He looks like one of my clients.
Anybody
though.
that can kill children and pets is a dick.
He looks like one of my clients. Son of a bitch. He's with another woman, but they didn't have any kids or a dog. So, yeah, that's
That'd be
not
crazy.
creepy at all.
That would be crazy.
That would be insane. Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès.
Lijones. I don't know.
Lijones.
My niece would probably know how to pronounce that.
Lijones. So, yeah, if somebody tells you they're going into witness protection or something, call bullshit, run. Or run, then call bullshit. It's probably a better case scenario for that. What?
So it says that there's actually been 1,700 sightings worldwide since then. They thought they had caught him in Scotland in 2019, but the DNA test proved that it wasn't him. So yes, definitely on the run, and people have been seeing him and reporting him.
1,700 sightings, and we can't. He's
Since
a slippery
2011.
little
I mean, that's
fox.
2011. That's so long ago.
It's only 100 a year. Well, actually 175 a year. There you go, Crystal.
Yeah.
That's math for you. All right, so that's okay. So I have heard of other stories. One in Thailand, one in England, to where a guy was saying, "Oh, I work for MI5 or MI6 or whatever it is," and then another guy claiming that he worked for the CIA while he was in Thailand, and people kept disappearing. And he would steal their passport. He would take them saying, "Hey, we're going to go on this awesome hike." And then he would take their passports and wind up like killing them.
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah,
It's like
so
Hostel, the movie.
kind of, sort of, except, I mean, like he didn't own the hotel. Just randomly, people would check into this hotel,
Yeah.
mostly hippies. It was a low cost hotel. And the dude just stayed there and he stole their money, stole their IDs, took their traveler's checks and offed them
Good
whenever he got a
Lord.
chance. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, apparently this happens with psychopaths. So,
There's a lot more of
let's-
them than you think.
oh, no doubt. So, what happened with the house?
There wasn't anything about like what happened to the house.
Hopefully, they got a new front porch.
It was the back porch,
was
back
the back
patio.
porch. Of course, the front porch neighbors would have seen.
But and neighbors did report seeing the family, and that's where some of the conflicting information came from on the timeline of the death, because there was a neighbor that was just absolutely sure that she had seen him a couple days after they suspected that they were killed. But people misremember things all the time, so it's really hard to say.
Eyewitnesses. It's
I-
so not going to be in our favor.
Yeah, and I think the dogs were barking like crazy that one day that was reported, because the family was probably already dead, and he was
Wow.
in there wrapping him up, and because he like wrapped him
And
up.
the dogs didn't like it. No shit.
Yeah.
They're freaked out. You did crazy shit. That's why dogs bark.
So you just never know what happens behind closed doors or what people's true motivations are. But that definitely took some planning. It wasn't something that was all willy-nilly. Like, he planned.
How do you do that?
do
You get
that.
to a place to where, the best option is off the fucking family and the dogs.
Start over
Start
somewhere.
over.
Who knows?
Yeah. He would have been better off just running, but it is what it is. So I need some rainbows and fucking sunshine after that. That was
Well,
horrible
you're on
and
the
dark.
wrong show, Robin.
I am on the wrong show. So, shifting gears, I brought a lot less murder today, which is apparently necessary since you went fucking dark, like, immediately. So, yeah, I'm going to take the from HGTV to Orange is the New Black stance. So here's what I bring, and this is a recent case. I don't have to say allegedly, though, because they have fucking admitted it. So for those of you who aren't in the mortgage world or real estate world, there are reasons why we do everything, and we actually get a lot of guffaws and not one more fucking document and all these things that clients get very upset with. And we ourselves have had clients who have been turned down just for the basics of questionable documentation, even in case scenarios to where there's no fraud that exists. It's just questionable. It looks sketchy, so we're not going to do the loan. Even in the case scenario of Donald Trump, there's so much sketchiness, so many wire fraud items, and I can't say wire fraud. Sorry. But what I can say is he had so many large deposits from foreign investors that a lot of banking institutions chose not to operate with him, which is an active and ongoing lawsuit happening with multiple banks, including Chase, JP Morgan Chase Bank, where he's suing because of discrimination, which is, well, let's just call it silliness. Okay. But even just in 2026, I could state 3 cases of fraud, which will probably be further episodes going in the future. Recently, as recently as March 2026, there were 11 arrested in California for a ring of stealing properties. And they stole somewhere between like 7 million to 17 million.
There is a lot of fraud in real estate.
Where they were creating false identification, stealing senior citizens' IDs, and then pulling out equity loans and reverse mortgages on behalf of their names and stealing basically the title to their property and whatnot, selling them in some cases and whatnot. So that is an active case that where they have arrested 11 individuals. You've got also in California the title lien queen, which she basically would run around finding people who had very expensive properties, file liens on the properties, not ever do any work on them, just file random fucking liens, and it costs more to hire the attorney than it is to pay off the lien. We're talking $5,000 to $10,000, but she did it so many times that now all of a sudden authorities are sitting up going, what the fuck? You know, and so she's under not just investigation, but has been charged, indicted, and is currently awaiting trial.
There's honestly a lot more fraud on the real estate side than I feel like there is the mortgage side. There's a lot on both, but what's not talked about as much is the fraud that happens in real estate and the deed stealing and the preying on the senior community. It's horrible. Oh,
absolutely. And investors are also, they seem and believe that they are immune to this. There is actually an active case going on to where people have been arrested in March of 2026. The scheme was to target U.S. and foreign investors providing high returns under the guise of high returns. And basically what they did was take their money, say they're going to invest it, and in many cases, they actually fabricated the deeds. They fabricated the wire transfers, said that they were going to renovate properties. In the end, they found that 46 properties that were supposed to be renovated and then turned into rental properties were not ever renovated. And then another 26 properties or such were actually fabricated deeds. So on and on fraud goes. And we are in a climate currently where we are on a rollback of the regulations, and people bitch about regulations, but the truth is the regulations are there to stop the nonsense. And if I can explain it any other way, I try to explain it to both my grandchildren and to my kids, that even fucking bank robbers have goals. Okay. And their specific goals is to transfer money from your wallet to theirs. That's their goal in a very short amount of time with the least amount of planning and the least amount of cost and expenditure of energy. So
now they've gotten creative with it.
And they are very creative. We are in a climate to where we have AI, high digital environments and whatnot. So pretty much everything you see, including what's on your screen right now, it's just not fucking real. Okay. All right. So fast forward. These are case examples. Now, this is not the showcase example that I'm going to bring to you today. Showcase example happened in North Texas, in my hometown arena again. God, we just cannot get our shit together, Texas.
I mean, Texas is like a quarter of the U.S., so.
Okay, all right. We definitely feel that way, that we are the most important state and don't even have the biggest population.
Bigger in Texas, including
everything
fraud.
is bigger in Texas, including fraud and our egos. Okay, so we have the case scenario of Christopher Judge and his lovely wife, Raquel. And if you can bring the picture up on the screen, you will see the most lovely couple ever. They are amazing. They're adorable. They're just HGTV quality people. Yeah. They mimicked an image in social media accounts of like superstars Chip and Joanna Gaines, who became famous for renovating properties.
The right way.
Okay. All right. There's some questions about that. There's some allegations. But to be quite honest, they are extremely successful. They do showcase properties, and they do take properties that need a little bit of love and renovate. Okay.
I mean, they inspired like the whole like 2010 through 2015 vibe of houses.
That is correct. And they reinvented shiplap for the rest of America. So God love them. They've done a lot for American dilapidated homes. And there is something to be said for America's homes are kind of aging. The houses that were built in the 50s and earlier definitely need a full facelift. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
And so that's one of the bigger problems because younger generations don't want to buy other people's headaches. And they also don't want to buy 1950s shag avocado carpet.
I definitely don't want other people's carpet.
Okay.
Ever.
Fair enough. And so here's the deal. We definitely need these showcase items. Why are you laughing? What's going on in your head?
Just thinking about other people's carpet.
Oh, yeah. You're talking to a girl that has hardwoods and ceramic tile all throughout her house. So, correct? Yeah. All right. So I think I only have carpet in like 2 closets and 2 bedrooms that I generally don't use. The rest is all
I have it in my
hardwoods.
bedrooms and basement, but I replaced it from the previous owner.
Okay. And as we've often said, you don't have good judgment. So that's all good. Anyway, so back on to Christopher and Raquel.
How dare you?
I know, right? So in 2020, real estate was a little bit maddening. Wouldn't you agree?
Gosh.
I mean, like
Crazy.
everybody needed to buy a fucking house and relocate across the country.
Well, when you can't leave your house, don't you want something that you can stand being in? 24/7?
I'm not disagreeing with it, but suddenly everybody worked from home by force. And if you work from home, why not work in a better climate? So I had people moving from Minnesota to Florida and from Chicago down to Texas.
the city out to the
and
middle of
New
nowhere.
York down to Houston. And I mean, just like everybody's like, why are we staying here in the cold weather if I don't have to be here, right? And then you reverse that in 4 years, a lot of people moving back because they think Southerners get too much sun on their heads and they act a little crazy, which is true, by the way. We do have soft brains.
Well, and companies wanted people back in the office so they weren't wasting money on office space.
That is true. So here we are in 2020. They filed Judge LLC Inc. And it's actually, maybe it's Judge Renos. Judge DFW LLC is what they filed. Okay. So for those of you who actually don't know, Texas is a unique state because, yes, we do have big egos, but we also hate regulation. Now, sometimes to a fault of our own. And one of the things that most people don't realize is that to be a general contractor, you don't have to have a license.
Which is crazy.
To be a roofer, you don't have to have a license. You just need a hammer. You don't even need a hammer. You can just get a crew that has hammers. So you really don't need it. As a matter of fact, the person that cut your fucking hair has more licensing experience than the
a
person
contractor.
rebuilding your house.
Yeah.
True story.
That's insane.
Now, they're also not legally required to have insurance. Did you know that? Mm-mm. Oh, my God. Yet bankers step in and we're like, well, this is not appropriate. We would like to see licensing and history and certificates of occupancy and all this stuff. Regulators are like, bullshit, we don't need any of that. Might have helped in a few cases, though. Mm-hmm. So let's take a look. Now, this is a cutesy couple. They wanted to be on HGTV. So they started social media as far as media accounts, making themselves look good. Here's what we did. Now, I'm quite sure if you look at their early work models, I'm 100% positive that they actually successfully renovated a home or two and used that to showcase items. Mm-hmm. And they did it at below cost. So they averaged high-end renovations below market cost, and you get a one-stop shop to where we will be able to renovate, style. We have an online architect who can help with the renovations. I do believe they were planning on engaging in some AI elements. So here it is. They've styled themselves as a one-stop shop for not only helping you find the right property, or if you already lived in the property, helping you find the designs, renovating it. And if you couldn't seek financing, they would just accept monthly payments. And once you got started on your monthly payments, then they would start doing the renovations.
Okay.
Sounds great. Great idea, is it not?
It is, but also around that time, materials started skyrocketing in cost.
Indeed. Materials like wood went up 74%. Materials like steel went up, I want to say 52% at its peak. And then
Everything.
on top of that, housing moved up in some cases like 48%, and in some cases 100%, depending on where you're at. And just to reflect back in time, and this was... this is 2026, so 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's
people were
crazy.
paying like 20, 30, 40. The most expensive I saw was 150,000 over listed price.
Yeah,
for the home.
I actually had a listing in Frisco, Texas that went 100,000 over list price, and we had 65 offers.
Yes. Did you read them?
All of them?
Yes.
No, I just took the.
You took
Yeah.
the good ones and tossed out the bad ones.
Hey, that's what I was directed to do.
Okay, and that's what we had to do. And you would get these offers in a matter of 24, 48, or 72 hours. And so basically,
That's crazy.
an agent, and correct me if I'm wrong during this time frame, agents would list a property and say, submit all offers, we'll be reviewing them on Monday night. And it would take fucking 3 days to review the 28-page
Yeah.
submissions.
Yeah.
And you would get these sob story letters. My husband's a quadruplet, quadruplet.
Oh, yes, the offer letters.
The
love
offer letters.
stories.
Please, sob stories. Please. We just love this home. We can see ourselves
I
in
just
it.
asked my clients, do you want to see these or no? Nope. Okay, cool.
All right. And then it was based off of money and realistic offers,
I mean, isn't
correct?
that really what it's about 99% of the time?
It depends. I mean, I did have a
not
couple
100.
of, not 100%,
but
but I had a
99.
few clients who said, I'd rather sell it to a military veteran, which was kind of cool.
Yes.
And they picked through and said military vets, and then they made them guarantee a certain amount if it didn't appraise, and then they would pick the best of the best offers and still feel good about
And
themselves.
God bless the clients that were like, I do not want to sell to an investor.
Yes.
Because there were some, very few, but there were some sellers that insisted that it go to another family.
Yes, and that's a whole nother element of undercurrent during this time period, because during that same time frame, stocks were challenged. Investors didn't know where to go, so they turned to the one place that they knew would have a brick and mortar shop that everybody wanted and hotcakes. So
Real estate.
what did they do? They threw their money into real estate, and they pushed out a lot of homeowners. And
We're still dealing with that to this day.
yes, we are dealing with the after effects of it. Slowly but surely, they are re-releasing those properties out.
Airbnb got really popular then too.
Yes, it did. So you had personalized investors. Now, weirdly enough, I saw some statistics, and less than 12% were institutional investors across the nation. But you had a lot of people that were taking their COVID money and turning and reinvesting it into second homes, which they would then turn around in Airbnb or VRBO, and then it became investment solutions, which skyrocketed the property values in places like Florida, California,
Texas.
Arizona, Texas,
Colorado.
New York, Colorado. All across the country, property values completely bloated up. Would you agree or no?
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
mean, to have your property value go up 50% in a 2, 3, sometimes even 1 year time period is unheard of.
So all of that is shifting in the background with low interest rates and people wanting, and it was a bigger nightmare in some cases to just pick up and move than it was to just stay still. So here, the judges come in and see opportunity, and they realize there's a case for renovating property and getting people to pay us money. Now, I don't think, I believe that fame and fortune really sung to their hearts, not just the idea of fraud. Because if you look, they really seem to love real estate. And even though they declared that they had an architect in-house, the architect's name was Christopher Judd, who wasn't even a fucking architect, okay? And as a matter of fact, he got sent a letter, please stop declaring yourself as an architect. And that was in 2022. And he continued to use the label architect on his business cards and on his website for an additional year while he was warned not to do so. Okay. Neither one of them were architects. You know their licensing was?
Just real estate.
Yes, 100%. They were real estate licensed. So they could buy and sell homes, and that was pretty much it. So on it goes. About 40 families, they get under contract, and this is all over North Texas. And they start some projects and then keep taking money from the newer projects and say that they're going to get started on them at a certain period of time.
Real estate Ponzi scheme.
It is a real estate Ponzi scheme. So here it is. They're using the newer money to fund the older projects, and some of the older projects are completely incompetent. Now, at the same time, they're trying to find anybody and everybody that will work on these, and there's no oversight or restrictions. So in a lot of cases, they get torn down walls and inappropriate plumbing, not from a licensed plumber, and then all of a sudden the plumbing just goes to the ground and it's wastewater.
It's Joe
and
Handyman down the street.
Worse than Joe Handyman. Joe Handyman actually knows that the plumbing can't just go on the lawn. Okay. So, or exposed wiring for the most part. So we are talking egregious case scenarios to where they would take out walls. They would tear up concrete. They would do incorrect wiring and exposed wiring, incorrect plumbing that just went to your yard. I think in one case scenario, it was kind of crazy. So here's the weird part, though. By the end of it, they get investigated. People are starting to complain, and suddenly the authorities start peeking up and going, "Who the hell are these people?" And they've got these great social media accounts and beautiful social media accounts of their travels and their selfies. And here's our finished products. And some of them aren't even some of the projects that they're declaring aren't even their clients.
Oh my god.
They're just walking through, taking examples. Look what we did. Look at this beautiful kitchen. And it turned out they had nothing to do with it. Weren't even on the CEOs. Okay. So here's the crazy shit. All right. Now, I was floored. They basically just under $4.8 million did they scam from over 40 families.
Good Lord.
All right. Here's the kicker. Okay. They spent $285,000 to pay themselves
Like
during a
W-2.
3-year period, just W-2. They took out another $133,000 in withdrawals from the company. So basically over a 3-year period, and assuming they basically paid themselves $200,000 for doing
Which isn't
nothing.
much compared to that number that they stole.
Correct. Now, they ran through the company $82,000 in personal Amazon purchases.
Amazon.
Right. So let's talk about this. One, this is bad news for me at home because my wife is suddenly going to fucking think that her Amazon purchases are reasonable. And number two, Jeff Bezos says, we're spending this goddamn much money. The least you could do is send a fucking thank you note, like digitally. I mean, like, thanks so much for the money. Thinking of you from the Galapagos. I mean, fuck. Anyway. 82,000. I haven't seen 82,000 items I could purchase from Amazon. I'm sure they have it, but I haven't seen
that I would even
82,000 that I
want.
fucking need or
All that
want.
stuff is junk.
Right. $10,000 on plastic surgery. I guess they got a nose job or a chin job or something. Oh, boobs?
That's
you think
about
it was
what
the boobs?
Cost. Yeah, that's about
That's what boobs cost? All
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't know. These are all mine.
Well, it depends on if they spent it here. I didn't trace if they got the plastic surgery in Mexico or whatnot. They spent a ton on travel. They also spent an additional $27,000 in mortgage payments, just paid directly from them from their company, and then the rest they spent on rents. Because it's not just the mortgage payments, but they also stayed other places for like a month, like at VRBOs and whatnot. So
they were just splurging.
they spent rent, tuition, and the question mark was, you know, who was in school? Like, was he trying to actually go through architecture school? Nobody seems to be able to find out. I did some investigation to see if I could figure out who was in school. I don't think anybody was in school. So I don't know if they meant it was like their ongoing online tuition, like if they paid a deposit to say he was in school for engineering.
Maybe.
Or architecture, or if they were just doing their fucking continuing education and calling it tuition. I'm not really sure. So that was kind of interesting. They also spent on other luxury items like purses and I guess
so
social
stupid.
media items like wonderful microphones and cameras and shit. So
Purses and shoes are the most ridiculous thing to spend thousands of dollars on.
You know, there's
don't care how
a
much money I
commercial out
have.
right now to where it's a girl with, I don't know, some kind of fancy fucking purse, and she's in there and she walks into the library, and all I can think of is that bitch would never enter a library. Does she even know where that is? Does she know where she's at?
Balenciaga has a yellow plastic bag, like grocery bag, that's like thousands of dollars.
What? That exists?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
It's stupid.
This is why humanity's going down.
That's a whole nother thing. But I'm glad they actually got caught, because you'd be surprised how many contractors actually get away with that, because if it doesn't cross a certain threshold of number, it's considered a civil matter.
Correct. And what's that number? I think it's
like
$7,000.
I think it's like 10.
I think it depends on the state.
Probably so.
Okay.
In Texas, I think it's 10, though.
Okay. Well, luckily I haven't had that issue so far, but
Well, I imagine you don't pay all the way up front for your contractors either, which nobody should do.
yeah, because they have a tendency to say thanks so much and then poof, like your
10% deposit
like your
for
French guy.
materials.
Poof.
Yeah, 10% for materials is good, but if they're asking you to pay up front, or they don't have the funds to pay for materials until project completions are done, that's a big red flag.
Gotcha. So here are some things that I put together as I was doing this research, and we're going to find out more about what's happening with the judges here in a bit. But some things that you can ask your contractors. One, are they licensed? All right. And in Texas, they will say, hey,
No.
guess what? They
We're
don't
not
have to have a
required.
license. That's great. What's your background? And don't just take it from social media. All right. Because guess what? It's all a fucking illusion, as we've discussed. So, secondly, you can actually reach out to your local civic center, meaning the city hall. And like in the case scenario of City of Irving and City of Mansfield, they actually register and ask these contractors to get registered. And so if they're registered, then you can follow up and find out what COs, and a CO is a certificate of occupancy, if they've done extensive renos.
Permits.
Cool.
All of that's public record.
Third thing that you can actually do is actually ask for a list of successful cases and contact
Yeah,
information.
references. Yeah, ask for
And-
the references.
It's not just ask for the references, it's the extra step of following up to make sure they're not related, that they're not using references of mommy and daddy and best friends and college friends, because guess what? That can also turn sad.
And a lot of that's public information. I mean, if somebody owns a home, you can look up that information for free. So you can verify that, hey, they did work on this address, and yes, the people they say they did the work for actually own the home.
Now, another red flag, ask them if they have insurance. Because if they don't have insurance, that means, well, honestly, that they don't put it in there because they're worried about claims. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, if they do have insurance, is see when the date of it started. Because if it just started in the last 30 days, guess what? They don't have any history of claims. But you can actually contact the insurer if they have had insurance and find out if they've had any claims over the last 3 years, because the insurance company would actually know.
I think it's called a clue report, right?
Yes. Well, the clue reports are on the houses.
But if you have builder's risk insurance, I would think.
I don't know what the report is actually
We
called.
need an
but you can
insurance
call.
person let us know how that goes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's a great idea. All right. Any other thoughts about contractors?
So, just do your due diligence. I mean, references, don't give them all the money up front. Pay them in increments as they complete portions of the project. Contracts. Always have a contract.
And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now, here's the other part. If you feel like you cannot make it through or just do all your due diligence, get a fucking loan. Get a construction loan, because guess what?
We'll
the
make
banks will put the due diligence forward.
Yep.
Ask for references. We'll ask for a history. We'll pull up COs. We'll look at it. And we also will hold on to the money until the project's done. And if the project doesn't get done, the guy or girl doesn't get paid.
Yep, and we often have third parties involved to make sure that the work is done satisfactory and that there's no mismatch between the client's expectations and the work that was completed. So construction
100%.
loans, renovation loans, we do them, we know them well. They are pretty involved, but it's for a reason. It's to protect you as the consumer.
Correct. So, on to an update. Do you want to know what happened with Christopher and Raquel?
Please.
Okay.
We don't often get updates. Some of these are just
So now we don't know how much they're being sentenced for, because one is being sentenced in May of this
Okay.
year and one is being sentenced in April. But Raquel is facing 5 years of prison. She did confess to her crimes. And she's only, because apparently her name wasn't on all the paperwork. Christopher, however, faces up to 20 years. Whew. And it's a conspiracy to commit wire fraud is where the big ones are at. So, yeah. Both face also restitution. And restitution is where once you get out of jail, you still have to pay back the money. And they'll take it out of your paycheck, even if you earn minimum wage over time.
Doesn't mean those people will actually get paid back, though, is what the sad thing is, especially if it was millions of dollars.
Yeah, they probably will never receive full restitution. Now, here's the thing. The title of this podcast is Murder, Mayhem, and Mortgages, and this is not necessarily murder.
There's definitely some mayhem, though.
It is some mayhem, but it does destroy lives.
Yes.
And it destroys lives because people work hard to save up their money, to build up their credit, and build a life for their family. That's what housing is about. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
And so I would call it murder adjacent just because it does kill lives. And quite honestly, some people never fucking recover. When you take their money, their trust never recovers, their ability to move forward. And in some cases, they never recover from a housing loss because their biggest asset usually is the house.
And when you have something financially devastating like that, people take their own lives over it too.
That's correct. That is 100% correct. So it may not be murder, but I would call it murder adjacent.
Murder of dreams.
Murdering of dreams. Oh, that's terrible.
That is.
Boy, a dark fucking episode this week.
Well...
All right, well, moving on, and if you like the dark stuff, please subscribe for sure. But let's move on to our ratings. So, Chef, dude, you had some dark shit today. French man killing his family and killing the dogs, and I'm a dog lover, so who doesn't have children and every now and then want to kill them? I kind of get that. Everybody does. They drive you crazy. That's why you take a 5-minute time out.
Even kids will be like, my mom wants to kill me.
Yeah, right. And kids always think we want to kill them too. And the truth is, yes, we do. But mommy needs a little time out and some magic juice.
I would never actually.
Right. We wouldn't actually lift a hand on our kids.
No.
We just
or animals.
Need 5 minutes and a gummy bear. Okay.
To kill kids and pets, like, that's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. And then to run away, all for fucking financial crimes. Give me a break.
Probably.
Man up. I mean, seriously. If you do the crime, you do the time. Knock it off. And hopefully he's not the owner of this fucking podcast.
Or just divorce and leave. Like,
right. Let it go. Move on. Change.
I know he was like a Catholic man, but I think killing somebody is worse in the Catholic Church than divorce. They'll just make you go to Rainbows, group therapy.
Wow.
In grade school, like I had to do.
Really?
Yeah. I went to Catholic schools, and there was a handful of kids in the whole entire school that had divorced parents, and we had to do group therapy called Rainbows.
Rainbows. I could ask my wife about it. She was raised Catholic. She actually says that the Catholic Church is a cult.
It's very taboo to be divorced in the early 90s.
Oh, imagine if you got divorced and then married a lesbian.
Oh, God.
Right.
Excommunicated.
Her family did not want to talk to us for a while. So, yeah. Hi, honey. I'm going to come home and she's going to kill me. All right. So I'm going to say on murder, you get a full-fledged 5. Mayhem. Oh, Jesus. I can't score you a 5 because he killed the dogs and it upsets me so much.
Well, that's a lot of mayhem. I should get like a 5+.
Oh my God, 5. Fine. I hate the concept of killing kids and dogs. I hate
absolutely.
It. I just hate giving a top score for that shit. And mortgages, there wasn't a whole lot of mortgages, but I'm sure, there was probably foreclosure in there because he was having financial trouble. So I'm going to give you a solid 3 on that.
All right. I'll take it.
All right. So murdering of dreams. What you got for me?
Got to give you a 2 on the murdering of dreams. No actual murder, but murdering of dreams is legitimate.
That's my lowest score.
Well, you gotta take it sometimes.
That's harsh.
And then on mayhem, I'm gonna give you a 4 because there was a lot going on with stealing people's money, gallivanting around, spending that money instead of doing the actual work, and there was a lot of ruined lives in that because I think
This is why I think my murdering of dreams, it gets me a higher score than 2.
Affected? Like 20 something?
40 families affected.
That's sad. So yeah, I'll give you a 4 on that. And
Yeah,
then,
and by the way, insurance doesn't cover that shit for falling for the wrong contractor.
no, but I think if you have builder's risk, it might. Again, insurance people, let us know how that works.
Yeah, and before entering a contract with a contractor, definitely check with your insurance agent about how you can protect yourself.
Yes.
So, insurance is your friend, even though none of us like it and none of us think it's sexy.
And mortgages, I'll give you a 4 because there was some wire fraud and, pretty hefty.
You're a harsh
penalty on
scorer
that.
today. You're just dark and harsh scoring. So,
I'm going to play the world's littlest violin for you, Robin.
all right. So, if you like this story, please follow us, share it, share with your friends in real estate and mortgages, and of course,
If you have a story you want to submit, please send us an email. Email address is below.
and Chef is wearing some of our swag. We now have t-shirts, both long sleeve and short sleeve, Murder, Mayhem, and Mortgages, but also we have hoodies and hats. So,
Yes.
so again, like, share, follow us, and we'll catch up with you and bring you the dark tales of real estate coming again at you next week.
See ya.